Master in Anatomy and Physiology with Indramani Pandey.
Hello, once again, guys. This is the another lecture about epithelial tissues. In last lectures, we talked about characteristics of epithelial tissues and the way that subdivided epithelial tissues. Okay, based on the layers and based on the shape. Now, in today's lecture, we can talk about types of epithelial tissues. There are different types of epithelial tissues, and I made a table for those. Okay, we're going to talk about their structure, function, and location. Okay, I think this table will be very helpful for you in exam point of view. Okay, so you can just take a snapshot, just take just like a picture, or take a screenshot or whatever you want to do. Okay, I think this is very helpful. Okay, the first one we can talk about is simple squamous, which is single layered. These are the flattened cells and they look like a tiled floor. Okay, and sometimes people call the structure like ball-like structure also. Okay, and they have a nucleus. Okay, as you can see here, and their main function is diffusion, filtration, protection, and lubrication. And the functions depend upon where they are present, right? Location, let's say kidney, where they have filtration, right? It's gonna go like that way. Diffusion, lungs, right? So that's the idea here. In the protection, maybe in the case of blood vessels, you can think of, okay, like serosei, like lubrication kind of, you can think of like where they are located, and those functions are related with the location of this squamous type of simple epithelium. Okay, and another one is simple cuboidal. As you can see, it looks like cubic in shape, right? Cuboidal in structure. It is also single layered, means like another layer gonna come here again. Okay, another layer gonna form same type of structure. So it's a cuboidal, but it is a single layered. There is no like stratified structure here. Okay, and it has a spherical nuclei, as I mentioned in previous lecture also. The cuboidal shape usually possesses spherical nuclei. Their main function is secretion and absorption, and it usually located in the thyroid gland. Okay, because it secretion in the thyroid gland, right? And you can have this this type of epithelium in the case of kidney tubule and ovary surface. But whatever I highlighted is the main thing you at least need to know. Okay, cuboidal, think of gland, thyroid gland. Simple columnar, if you're talking about simple columnar, it is also a single layer and it usually packed tightly with the adjacent one through desmosomes or tight junctions. As you know, you can have modification on top. You can have cilia like this way. Okay, or you can have microvilli on them. Okay, they are tubular glands or cilia. You can have those type of modification on these type of columnar epithelium. They look like column, that's why they consider as a columnar epithelium. Okay, they are single layered, that's why they are simple. Okay, the main function is also absorption and secretion. As I mentioned already, wherever these tissues are present, okay, that determines their function. Okay, like ileum, small intestine, right, and the gallbladder. Okay, you can see in the ileum or small intestine you can have absorption, right? In a gallbladder, you can have secretion of the bile kind of scenario. Okay, so that's the idea here. And the stratified squamous epithelium means, as you know, stratified means many layers. As you can see here, there are like multiple layers there. The nucleus are at different levels also. Okay, you cannot see like actually the lined up nucleus actually. Okay, these are usually present in the surface cells, like for example, what I want to mention is not surface cells, but these usually have surface cells and the basal cells. Basal cells are usually cuboidal, or you can think of columnar. Okay, but these surface cells are usually squamous in nature. You cannot see maybe here. I wrote this is a columnar. Okay, so cuboidal or columnar. And remember that these stratified squamous epithelium has different layers, multiple layers. That's why it is stratified. Okay, and these are usually found in wide anterior area. Therefore, they are for protection. Okay, for example, oral cavity, esophagus, and the sole of the foot. So these are the examples, or these are the places or the location where you can find stratified squamous epithelium. Okay, now next one is another type is called pseudo-stratified columnar. Pseudo, what do you think of pseudo? Pseudo means false, right? So pseudo-stratified epithelium, you can see here, these have several layers. Okay, and like nuclei are at different levels. Okay, and these cells are vary in height. If it starts from here, it may not go all the way through down. Okay, it may not go all the way through down. It just stopped at this middle. Okay, so they are of various like varying heights. The nuclei, that's why at a different level. You can see here, actually these nuclei looks like randomly arranged in the case of stratified squamous, but actually they are like closely like lined up, but you just like see like those are randomly, okay, as you see those like that way. But here absolutely you can see that these are at different levels. Okay, nuclei are at different levels. The main function is a secretion and propulsion of mucus if cilia are present. Okay, for example, in the case of trachea, you may have ciliated, right? Ciliated version of pseudostratified columnar. Okay, like for example, like sperm carrying dogs are usually a non-ciliated version. Okay, so that's the idea here. If the cilia are present, they actually work for the propulsion of the mucus. Okay, otherwise not. And keep in mind, pseudo means false, stratified means looks like many layer. Okay, so that's the false many layers. Several layers you can have here. As you can see here, also you can have several layers also here, but it is not pseudo stratified because these cells are of same height. But here these cells are not the same height. They look like same height, but they are not. And the last one, the unique type is called transitional type of epithelium. And these also have several layers. These basal layers are usually cuboidal or columnar in structure. As you can see here, this looks like cuboidal kind of structure in this particular type of picture, right? And the surface cells are usually dome shaped or squamous like usually, okay? And their main function is to stretch and the storage of urine for a certain period of time is possible. So that means like, or their main function is mainly to store the urine by stretching the urinary bladder, because it is present in urinary bladder and ureter in some part of the urethra. Okay, only the some part. So urinary bladder 100% you can have transitional epithelium. In exam, transitional epithelium is found in, don't give like urethra, because it's like some part of the urethra. It is not 100% transitional. If it said urinary bladder, 100%, 100 out of 100. So that's the idea here. So as I highlighted here, you need to think of highlighted area. Okay, I want to mention those things again. First thing foremost, if you're talking about simple squamous, it has a single layer. It looks like flattened tiled floor. Functions are here. These examples, locations are very important. Kidney, lungs, blood vessels, 100%. You need to know this. Another is simple cuboidal. These are cubic in shape and the spherical nuclei. Function is here. These are present in thyroid gland. That's the one example. If you can remember these things too. But this is very important. Simple columnar. It is also single layered. It looks like column. It can have modification of cilia or microvilli or tubular glands kind of scenario. And function is here. And they are located in ileum or small intestine mainly. And in the case of gallbladder also. These are the two places you definitely need to know. Okay, definitely need to know. Another is stratified squamous. That means stratified means many layers. If you see many layers, that is stratified. Forget about these things. Okay, it's stratified. Okay, and the cells, the shape may vary depending upon the surface cells and the basal cells. Okay, they are usually found in very anterior areas like oral cavity, esophagus, sole of the foot. Okay, these are the things you definitely need to know. And two more we talked about are pseudo-stratified columnar epithelium and the transitional epithelium. Pseudo-stratified columnar epithelium, they looks like they have multiple layers, but they do not have multiple layers. Okay, like, you know what I mean? Well, okay, they do have multiple layers, but they have a false impression that these are the cells that are touching the two surfaces, the apical, this surface and the down surface, apical surface and the basal. They do not run like all the way to the top. That's the false impression. They do have several layers. Okay, they do have several layers, as you can see here, right? Several layers. Okay, but they do possess false impression like that. Okay, that's what they call it, the pseudo-stratified columnar epithelium. They looks like column. Okay, they are mainly present in trachea. Okay, they may be ciliated or non-ciliated. Depending upon ciliated and non-ciliated, their function may vary. Okay, the transitional epithelium, several layers. The cells composed of this type of tissue may be like different types of different shapes, not the types, but different shapes of the cell may form this type of this type of epithelial tissue, and their main function is stretch and the storage of the urine. So that's why they are present in the area where urinary urinary system is usually, like urinary bladder and ureters kind of scenario. I think this will definitely help a lot to tackle these types of epithelial tissues. I will see you in next lecture with different types of tissue, which is connective tissue. For now, see you. Bye bye. Take care.
Please subscribe to see more videos regarding anatomy and physiology.